Yao Ming is 7'6" and makes most NBA players look tiny. But this freak of nature makes Yao look small. His name is Abiodun Adegoke, and he is the tallest basketball player in the world. Standing at 7'11", and we're not talking about the convenience store, Adegoke, aka the Big Naija, is so huge he went viral just cause Shaq posted a video with him. But just look at this guy. When you make Shaq look like a kid, you are either a skyscraper or Abiodun Adegoke. Adegoke was born in Nigeria, and because he grew taller than his house walls, he couldn't stand up straight, which caused him to have a hunchback. Nonetheless, at the age of 16, Big Naija was already a 7-footer when he got discovered by a coach at the International College in Nigeria, and the coach just had to invite Adegoke to play for his team. Big Naija accepted, but he was so poor that he walked around in some do-it-yourself shoes made of plastic and truck tires. When he played basketball, he was barefooted because there was not a single shop in Nigeria that sold size 20 shoes. By the time the Big Naija was 17, he grew to be 7'2", and he quickly became a star at the university. Until, out of nowhere, he disappeared. Nobody knew where he was until a few months later the university got a call. It turns out that Adegoke got an offer to play basketball professionally in the Middle East, where he is still playing today. And to everybody's surprise, their former pupil never stopped growing. When Shaq posted the video with him, he was about 7'9". But in 2022, Adegoke measured himself and posted a picture that broke the internet because he grew again to his current height of 7 feet and 11 inches. If you watch his highlights in the Elite Youth League in Dubai, you'd think, how is this 23-year-old behemoth not playing in the NBA? And that NBA scouts should be talking about him and not Victor Wembanyama. It seems like Adegoke can't be touched inside the paint, dunking over people like they aren't even there. When someone can dunk without even jumping, no defense can guard that. But in reality, Big Naija is not in the best shape and he can barely run up and down the court. When this 7'11" giant gets the ball deep in the post, it's usually game over. But the problem is that it takes him about 15 seconds to even reach the other end of the court. If it wasn't bad enough, his stance is stiff, his movements look awkward, and when he's running slowly, it seems like his legs are going to collapse under his enormous body. If he ever played pro ball, he would probably endure plenty of leg injuries. Adegoke doesn't have a great jump shot, his basketball technique is subpar, and he is quite uncoordinated, which is no surprise for someone of his stature. Defenders only need to manage to stay in front of him and deny him the ball to completely remove him from any offensive action. It's safe to say this giant is far from playing any kind of professional basketball, and we are certain he'll never play in the NBA. But Adegoke is not the only super freakishly tall basketball player to become an internet sensation. As a 17-year-old high school player, Robert Bobrovsky went viral because he was 7'7" tall, weighing only 180 pounds and looking like 4 long sticks meshed together. Robert dreamed about the NBA his whole life, simply because he was always been super tall. His 7'1" father was a former basketball player who played on the Romanian national team with George Muresan, a 7'7" giant and the tallest player in NBA history. Robert's mom was a 6'1" volleyball player, and little Robert surpassed her in height at just 8 years old. Yeah, you heard correctly. He was 6'2" when he was 8, and at the age of 12, he reached 7'2", surpassing his father's height. Robert was recruited by an Italian under-15 team, Stella Azzurra, and he helped them win the national championship. His family then moved to America, and at the age of 17, Robert made his high school debut at the Spire Academy, where he became a teammate to LaMelo Ball. While LaMelo usually stole all the headlines, Bobrovsky made sure it wasn't like this at Spire, because he was an attraction everywhere he went. However, Robert was limited by a lack of endurance, muscle mass, and mobility on the court. Rob also suffers from scoliosis, a disorder marked by a lateral curvature of the spine which causes back pain at any height, let alone 7'7". Because of this, Robert couldn't do any squats or deadlifts, and even though he ate 7 meals a day, he hardly gained any weight during his time with Spire. In 2022, he played for Rochester University, but without any significant impact on the court. Even though he had dreams to play in the NBA like Kristaps Porzingis, his favorite player, it doesn't look like pro basketball is in the cards for this gentle giant. But this next giant was anything but gentle, at least not when he was kicking Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker's butt in the hilarious scene of Rush Hour 3.
Whoa! Damn! Lee, I got a big problem, man. This boy's on steroids. He got a head like Barry Bonds.
Oh, no.
Come on, man.
Thanks to his movie role, Sun Ming became as popular as Yao Ming, just without playing in the NBA, which is a shame because 7'9", 360-pound Sun Ming's first love was basketball. Sun was naturally big, and at 15 years old, he was standing at 7 feet, which pushed him to play basketball. However, he was never supposed to reach his current height. See, Sun had a tumor on his brain that forced his body to grow rapidly, even in his later years. It's a condition called acromegaly that caused Sun's body to release high levels of growth hormone, which, if not treated, could cause premature death. His basketball career was threatened to be over before his 21st birthday, and he didn't have $100,000 needed for surgery until his agent saved the day, organized a highly successful fundraiser, and got the money for Sun's surgery. Sun always hoped to play in the NBA like his countryman Yao, but he was not nearly as skilled or mobile as 3-inch shorter Ming. Sun went on to play in minor American leagues, Mexico and Japan, before he returned to China, where he had the most successful period of his career. Playing for the Beijing Ducks alongside Stephon Marbury, Ming won 2 CBA titles. Even though he could dunk without jumping and had a bit of skill, Sun couldn't catch other players running up and down the court. Sun was never a big contributor in terms of production, but he was the main attraction and one of the most popular players everywhere he played. In 2013, he got married to a 6'2" Chu Yan, and together they entered the Guinness World Record as the tallest couple in the world, with a combined height of 13 feet and 11 inches. But Sun Ming wasn't the only gigantic basketball player who made the Guinness World Record. Neil Fingleton entered the record book as the tallest British man ever at 7 feet 7.5 inches and among the 25 tallest men in the world. So when he sprouted to 7'7" as a teenager, Fingleton decided to cash in on his height and pursue a basketball dream in America. He led his high school to a divisional championship and was named Massachusetts High School Player of the Year, primarily due to his defense, as he was blocking more shots than Dikembe Mutombo. This earned him the invite to the 2000 McDonald's All-American Game. Facing the best players in the nation and 6 future NBA players, Fingleton made his mark by blocking 3 shots in 10 minutes on the court. There was a legit recruiting battle for Fingleton's services, and when the time came in 2000, he picked North Carolina. He was supposed to be the most devastating defensive force in college, but then a disaster. Fingleton broke his back and was forced to miss his freshman season after undergoing back surgery and wound up playing only 1 career game for the Tar Heels. He then transferred to another school, but Neil couldn't really move anymore, and his career came to an end. But Fingleton soon found a new calling, in acting. Neil had some notable roles, fighting with Keanu Reeves in 47 Ronin, playing the gigantic Fisher King in Doctor Who, and in Game of Thrones, he was Mag the Mighty. But this next humongous basketball player still has NBA dreams that are very much alive. His name is Olivier Ryu. He's only 16 years old, but he's already 7'6". In 2022, Olivier made the Guinness World Record book as the world's tallest teenager. But unlike most people of his stature, Olivier can play. He's mobile, balanced, and agile enough to carry his enormous body up and down the court. Ryu became a sensation after a YouTube video showed him in an under-12 tournament standing at 6'10", looking twice as tall as everybody else. And Denver's Jamal Murray even took a picture with Ryu. If you photoshopped Murray's beard onto Olivier, it would look like Murray was his son. Ryu's father is 6'8" and his mom is 6'2", and everybody knew he was going to be tall. Olivier was already 5'2" in kindergarten, but the doctors were thinking he'd peak at 6'5". Well, doctors don't know everything, do they? Olivier can dunk by just stretching upwards. He doesn't really need to jump, and he probably didn't stop growing just yet. But as history showed us, being taller decreases effectiveness after a certain point. And for Olivier's NBA dreams, it maybe would be better if he didn't grow another inch.